but I know we worry about this with our children. But somehow this normalization that you can treat people like this has set a horrific precedent for generations to come.
And I want to thank Josh for joining us this week while Pumps is on vacation with her children for the Thanksgiving Day break. I want to move along here to a tweet from Greg Sargent on the courage of everyday Americans. And he says, while elite journalists and businessmen kiss the ring of Trump.
Baby, look at that. What is it called? What is it called? What is it called? A reptilian. They say he got him. He got, y'all see it? Look at that monster. Look at that. Ain't it called reptilian? Look at that reptilian. Oh my. Oh my. Look at that demonic monster. It showed itself. It slipped through. Wow. Lizard. That's what them reptilians they say look like. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely looks soulless. Mm-hmm. It's his fault.
Journalists and businessmen kiss the ring of Trump.
Wait.
People in jammies and slippers.
Horrific precedent for generations to come.
And I want to thank Josh for joining us this week while Pumps is on vacation with her children for the Thanksgiving Day break. I want to move along here to a tweet from Greg Sargent on the courage of everyday Americans. And he says, while elite journalists and businessmen kiss the ring of Trump,
he does.
People in jammies and slippers confront ICE in the street.
Fatilia.
The courage of ordinary people has been stunning compared to the elite. And I want us to sit and talk about that for a second, because this to me is how you can show your biggest sense of shared humanity, is by standing with those who are picked on and marginalized and bullied. Like that woman was doing, that family that was just leaving a parking garage. Those people were American citizens. They just happened to have brown skin. And you have all of these elites, these billionaires that don't have to pay taxes in this country, that grift off of the working class, that go and kiss the ring to Donald Trump. Tim Cook has made, so much money from Apple, and he can't go fight for the people who buy his phones. He fights for this man who is using his Gestapo via ICE to kidnap people off the streets. And then everybody always wonders, like, well, where are the Proud Boys? Where are all of these right-wing extremists that the FBI was talking about are America's terror group? They're all being employed by ICE now. And so I just want to give a shout out to all of the Americans in Chicago and New York and Los Angeles, now in North Carolina, that are going out and standing for our fellow Americans that happen to have brown or black skin, and standing with them and showing far more courage than all of these cowardice billionaires. And I also want to remind people, and this is super duper duper important, the way we're all feeling right now, for the first time, seeing all of these people under attack, this is
for the first time. For the first time. For the first time. For the first time. That's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow, knowing what our ancestors went through for no reason other than the color of their beautiful skin. That's a hard pill to swallow.
I want to remind people, and this is super duper duper important, the way we're all feeling right now, for the first time, seeing all of these people under attack, this is what Black people have experienced America for their whole lives. This fear is what our Black Americans have felt their whole lives. And so it is a time for us to double, triple, quadruple down on our support for our fellow Americans that live here with us, and stand up against this president and all of his billionaire, now trillionaire, fat cat, piece of shit friends, because this is just, for the first time, seeing all of these people under attack, this is what Black people have experienced America for their whole lives. This is important. The way we're all feeling right now, for the first time, seeing all of these people under attack, this is what Black people have experienced America for their whole lives. This fear is what our Black Americans have felt their whole lives. And so it is a time for us to double, triple, quadruple down on our support for our fellow Americans that live here with us, and stand up against this president and all of his billionaire, now trillionaire, fat cat, piece of shit friends, because this is just unacceptable.
And I think we all have a social responsibility to not be complicit in this. And I think
A social responsibility. We all have a social responsibility now because this is the first time. We've been having a social responsibility. It should have already been in place. But this is the first time. Hey, Mr. Way. Hey, everybody that has come in. You never had empathy before now. There was never empathy for the Black people before now. Never had to put yourselves in our shoes. This is the first time. That the light bulb came on. Now, as hard as it is for me to digest this, to thy own self be true, I have to own that I have said on more than one occasion about the renewing of the mind. Whenever the light bulb comes on, the light bulb comes on. Just like with Candace Owens, I would have thought that the light bulb would have came on long before now. So I respect her honesty. I'm going to have to respect several people's honesty, because where I may have said it, they are now saying it. So it's one thing when we the people said or I said, but it's a whole nother when they have, when the taking up of ownership. You know, I'm big about ownership, very big about ownership. So respectfully, because I am about everything else, I have to be respectful and acknowledgeable in this regard as well. And we have to be thankful to God at whatever time or whatever situation in life allow you to see the errors of your ways and thinking, and God brings you to a place where you have a renewing of the mind. Because I say this here recently, that no man or woman stir up righteousness within their own self. It's all a part of God's purpose and plan for each individual. No, I think Candace realized she was in a cult. I believe, yeah, she said that it was when the kids, it was babies being slaughtered for her. You know, I'm gonna take her at her word. I don't necessarily know if it definitely is about the black card or not. But whatever it was, she said it was about, she just could not justify in this cult, this religion, seeing the genocide. I'm a believe that. I'm a believe it. Just like I'm gonna believe these people who are immigrants are and being snatched up. That's when they light bulb comes on. I'm not gonna add to their story. I'm not gonna take it away. If her testimony is it was the kids, then it was the kids. Black people still need to do better. Black lives need to matter to black people first, and I'm a firm believer in that. So. Now, I'm not just going to talk about black people to, but I tell my people about themselves amongst ourselves. But black lives need to absolutely matter first to black people before we can expect for any other race to respect black lives. Right. If Jesus, for me, I agree. Yeah. Mm-mm. 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 Yeah, no, I think we have to do better. Everybody got to do better. And I honestly think that there should be an outcry and an outpour, march and everything else when black people kill black people. Why is it only a march when someone white do it? Is it not as painful? See, it's that type of stuff for me. It's that type of stuff for me. It hurts me to see black people have no love, no concern. It's just as if now I don't want to go there, because now that I know that they are intentionally planting, manipulating, and using devices and injecting food with certain parasites for certain things. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just not going to be surprised. I saw today where there was a particular type of parasite that they have created that's designed to not just mental but for anger, that will create anger within you. I'm like, what type of crap is this? And I think they said it attacks the brain. So I mean, I just wouldn't be surprised. And just like anything else, just like them planting drugs and guns and stuff in lower and private areas, I would assume that they would do the same thing with that. It's just blowing my mind, the intentional sabotage. I wonder why. Just wonder. If we just sit back and wonder why diabetes is not a white, everybody's disease. Why? Why? Why we don't hear about white people having diabetes? High blood pressure like black people. Why? And now we're finding out that it is primarily parasites. So now we are understanding that they are poisoning the air with the planes, the water filters in the water. So is it manipulated for certain areas? We don't know. Because we just now, our blinders are just now coming off. We've heard everything in the world about poisoning the food, and we still have not paid very much attention to it. We have heard for years about managed healthcare. Constantly, every time a new pill comes out, they get bonuses for pushing those pills. They will change your medicine in order to keep you sick. And I wish I could at least get my family. And if I can't even convince my family to do research on it, instead of just believing every time or running to the doctor, because the doctor has your best interest at heart. I can't even convince my family of that. I'm like, okay, so why you keep having this same? Okay, they changed the medicine. Okay, so why did they change the medicine? Okay, so you're still sick, you're still in pain. Okay, so have you asked them? I need for you to ask your doctor, are they trying to heal you or string you along? What's the end goal? Okay, can I get you to do research on parasites? Can I at least get you to do a detox? Oh, so you still gonna believe the doctor? So you're gonna take all your medicines to the doctor and so that y'all can start over. So you still believing that they are trying to help you? Yeah, that right there. They love people like that. Instead of people like me saying, oh, no, no, I don't want no shot. I don't want to give blood. I don't want to do nothing. Did you go get? Nope, sure did not. I don't want that. I don't want to take that. Why you don't cuss everything? I feel like if I do an exam, you're going to look to find something wrong with me, and then you're going to try to get me to go to another doctor, and then they're going to try to find something wrong with me. This is my conversation with the doctor. I went to and then telling me I got cholesterol issues and gave me some pills that started having. And when I went to the pharmacist, the sister at the pharmacist, and she said, now, you know, this is going, I don't know if they told you, but this is going to make you have, what did she tell me? Trouble walking or cramps and severely bad cramps in my feet. And this is a real strong dosage. And so you may want to not break it in half. I said, what? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me show. Hold on. I said, what? I'm looking for the date on here. Y'all know I don't have no sense, right? I said, what? You want me to do what? And it do what? It's gonna make me have pain. No. This right here start with an A. ATORVAS. Yeah. TAT. Okay. So guess what? This was May 2023. She gave me oh, hold on. I mean, because I need for y'all to see this. I need for y'all to see this. She gave me a 90-day supply. 2023. Y'all see how many I still... Do it look like I took them? I said, the minute I started feeling whatever it was that she said I was going to feel, that was it for me. And that was 2023. And you see, I still got them. Nope. Mm-mm. Oh, that's why I put it in my hand. You understand? Yeah, no. It's a no from me. It's a no for me. Let's finish. It's a no from me. I don't want it. Oh, you flushed? Yeah. It's just no.
Us to double, triple, quadruple down on our support for our fellow Americans that live here with us and stand up against this president and all of his billionaire, now trillionaire, fat cat piece of shit friends, because this is just unacceptable.
And I think we all have a social responsibility to not be
I just thought about that. I hadn't even thought about it.
I think what we're seeing with that video, we're seeing day-to-day average Americans that are standing up and not being complicit. And sometimes morally and socially, you have to take a stand. You can't be silent when you see this kind of conduct normalized by this administration. And I see it in the criminal justice system, the blatant racism, the mistreatment, the abuse of marginalized groups. But here, I think we've seen with ICE being deployed across the country, you see normal day-to-day Americans. And it reminds me of a quote by RFK where he said that...
Not the crazy one, the dad.
The dad, yeah, I should have prefaced that. But he said that every Little bit of change can create a ripple effect if you stand up for goodness, if you stand up for people, and eventually that ripple effect will create a wave. And all of us have to remember that in our day-to-day life. When you see something that's wrong like this, you have to call it out. You cannot be complicit. You can't sit back. And your good deed, your goodness will help create ultimately a wave of goodness.
Wait a minute, hold on. Papa Bear, what do you mean the juice box was consuming all the pork and what? I think it's a big misunderstanding. Papa Bear, hi, I'm from Jamaica and that's what they're doing to my country over here. Oh, okay. The side effects are worse than the problem. Yeah, I was like, what? I ain't what? Oh yeah, no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Thank God for the pharmacist who warned me. Yeah, we just got to be mindful. We got to be mindful, and they are really trying to take people out. Yeah.
Do that in our day-to-day lives.
And I want to remind you that a lot of people will try to provide cover for themselves in daily conversations. And they'll say something like the following to me: well, I'm really proud of your success. We just disagree politically. And my response is always, we don't disagree politically. We disagree ethically and morally.
Yeah.
We're completely different people.
Yeah.
I am not for denying people due process and kidnapping them off the streets and sending them to CCOT in El Salvador, where these people were sexually abused. I'm not for taking people away from their families with no criminal record,
right,
and shipping them off to some
there's no
torture
justification
chamber in
for
Africa. And this is happening all the time. I'm not for the law being applied to Donald Trump and his rich friends one way and to Black and brown Americans a different way. We're completely different morally. I really am pro-life in the sense that once a person is born, that I want Americans, hardworking Americans, to be able to live with decency and self-respect and not feel bullied by the ruling class. So we're just, right now, these are not political differences. These are complete moral differences, which brings me to something that is super, really important and kind of devastating at the same time.
Yeah.
Put this up, Kylie. The New York Times covered Viola Fletcher, the oldest survivor of the Tulsa race massacre. She dies at age 111. Barack Obama tweets this story and says, as a survivor of the Tulsa race massacre, Viola Fletcher bravely shared her story so that we'd never forget this painful part of our history. Michelle and I are grateful for her lifelong work to advance civil rights and send our love to her family. And I just want to share with you all that as two people that were educated in Oklahoma, this was whitewashed from our Oklahoma history classes. I never learned about the Tulsa race riots until like 5-7 years ago. It was the first I ever heard of it. And this is something right now, as we see so much injustice, that we have to understand that Black Americans have been on the forefront of all of these civil rights movements, and they have organized successfully against patriarchal white supremacist structures. Most recently, Target is a prime example. After this election, Target goes out, cancels their DEI program, seems to go kiss the ring to Trump. The Black community wasn't having it. They silently and very expeditiously and brilliantly organized against Target. In a matter of 3 or 4 months, that CEO was fired and they lost billions of dollars. White Americans need to do a better job collaborating and partnering with Black Americans. They are our equal and they are our brothers and sisters, and they have suffered so much.
again, it's a hard pill to swallow. But we got to be thankful for whatever point in time in their life they begin to get it. It's a hard pill to swallow. Oh, we see, but this is the first time that I've heard them acknowledge, verbally say it publicly. $2025 is I mean, I'm sure it was similar. It was unfamiliar territory. You didn't know nobody. You didn't speak the language, because you got a whole president that is an immigrant, grabbing immigrants and sending them to foreign lands to be the same thing that happened to us, to them. But I'm sorry, you still have to have empathy, because it is still a test between you and God. It is still a moral, ethical, it shows character, and it's about your relationship with God. So we can't toot a horn. We can't say, what's the word I cannot stand? I can't think of it because I don't like it. Because this is about you and God. It ain't necessarily just about them. And whatever time and circumstances that we have a renewing of the mind. Hey, Willie Spencer, it's still a renewing of the mind. But there are some of us who can have a renewing of the mind and will not give a testimony about it. Will not acknowledge it because of pride and ego. So I respect the ones who will verbally, publicly acknowledge that it was wrong. Never would have imagined that they could have been in circumstances anywhere remotely similar. I get it now. I get it now. It's just like what's going on in the world today. This would be my first time ever experiencing what we are experiencing now. And it is an aha moment for me. It's like, whoa, what is this? People just, whoa. President just corrupt and causing harm to U.S. citizens. Never ever experienced this in my life. And it has brought on a different type of awareness. So much so that I stopped everything I was doing online and turned around and focused here so that we could pay attention to what was going on so that nothing can just really slip up. Blinders off. Blinders off. Taking life for granted as freedom of speech. Never have our freedom of speech been compromised and so close to being outlawed. So this is a shakeup. God is just not shaking up them, shaking all of us up. Well, I care, Papa Bear. I care because I have young ones. I have to care. I have family that I care about like I care about myself. Yeah, I care enough about for my tea sippers to say, whoa, we got to do this together. No, we got to stay woke. We got to see what's going on. There's a shift in the atmosphere, and we got to be aware. Yeah, the devil is busy. So I care, because the devil's trying to manipulate in your face, and you have Bibi Netanyahu, who wants to be pardoned, but also wants to trick Christians into a satanic cult. There is a mission of New World Government where they're trying to make you take what they're trying to give you. And next thing, it will be a stamp that has 6s in a cluster. So yeah, I care. And I don't just care for me. I care for you as well. We got to stop being selfish, people. We got to stop being selfish. And the minute we start saying that's what we get, that's what they get, then we'll have to be hit with something for being spiteful. No, I'm not trying to fail no test. I'm not trying to fail it. So I got to remain righteous. You know, I got to put God first instead of myself first, because if I put myself first, I will be saying, oh, that's what they get. Yeah, no, I can't do that. I care. And I'm thankful that they are somewhat beginning to understand. Oh, but we finna see some that don't, though. Hold on, hold your wig. Hold your wig.
Much at the hands of white oppression, and they don't have the benefit of generational wealth. And everything that they accomplish in life, especially in America, is far more difficult for them to find success than it is for a white person. And this is just very real, and it's important that we tell them we see you, we hear you, and we're here to fight against racism with you.
And the best thing we can do is say thank you. The best thing, again, we would have rather it came sooner. But I respect that. I respect ownership. Papa, come back another day. Come back another day. Because you still got the devil playing in your ear. I respect that. How often have you heard anybody publicly say it? This woman didn't have to say this. She didn't have to. She could have went on about her way and skipped right on past it. No, I'm going to acknowledge that she said it, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Suffered so much at the hands of white oppression, and they don't have the benefit of generational wealth. And everything that they accomplish in life, especially in America, is far more difficult for them to find success than it is for a white person. And this is just very real, and it's important that we tell them we see you, we hear you, and we're here to fight against racism with you. You're valued. You matter.
And they did. They did.
See, you know, let me tell you what I hear when I hear this. And I don't know why it's hitting me. You know, let me tell you who I hear. I hear myself. I hear myself when I validate victims when they come over here. I hear myself validating victims who have never been violated for somebody raping them, abusing them. That was validating for me.
And this is just very real, and it's important that we tell them we see you, we hear you, and we're here to fight against racism with you. You're valued, you matter.
And they did in the state of Oklahoma completely whitewash the history of the Tulsa race massacre. And you know, the more that I've learned about it, it was basically the destruction of the location of Tulsa, basically a systematic plan by the government to go in and set fire to the black community.
Which was very successful.
Very successful. And they eventually, the name of it has changed to a massacre and not a riot.
Right.
Because people have become educated about what happened. But for us to sit here and act like we in any way can understand the pain or plight of African American people or other marginalized groups would be somewhat disingenuous, because we don't know the pain that they've had to suffer and the difficulties they've had to rise up. But it's important for us, like you said, to see something like that, to honor it, to show that woman and her family respect for what they went through, and do everything within our power to change the system of government and make sure that we're not complicit in any form of racism against any person in this country.
Yes, and it's important to notice that that should have been generational wealth. They had a black Wall Street. They had built a safe, and albeit they thought it was safe, and productive community, and white people wouldn't allow it because of racism. Just like at the top of this video, that white woman wouldn't allow that Hispanic American family that lives in Boca Raton to exit a garage. And this type of injustice and this type of cruelty is something that, as Josh and I as white people, have to call on other white people to join this fight with our fellow Americans that are black and brown. And I want to tie this into this whitewashing that people do, to the whitewashing that's been going on in the Republican Party right now about the fact that Donald Trump has always been a Russian asset. And you have this ruling class that always wants to change history, change facts, ignore facts, and lie to the public. And I just want to remind you, Josh and I knew this at the time because we talked about it a lot. We've always been political junkies, but put up this tweet and headline.
Listen, paying $14.99 a month for a streaming app and $9.99 a month for a music app and $12.
Shannon Watts tweets, a reminder that Kevin McCarthy and Paul Ryan alleged that Donald Trump was a Russian asset back in 2016.
Kevin McCarthy.
House Leader McCarthy suggested Trump on
Now, that was one of the guys that was talking to McCarthy a while ago when we heard they playing, right? Didn't I say McCarthy and Mitch? So he was talking to him. About they playing with the kids. That's him. Okay. Interesting.
Speaker of the Houses, both of them, knew that Donald Trump was on Putin's payroll in 2016, but every single 2016, House Leader McCarthy suggested Trump on Putin payroll. So think about that. Former Speaker of the Houses, both of them, knew that Donald Trump was on Putin's payroll in 2016, but every single sitting Republican right now whitewashes it and ignores it because they prefer money and racism over the truth. This type of protecting white men is directly linked to the racism that we exposed further. Why does this man get away with it? Could you imagine if Barack Obama, the black president, if anybody even remotely suggested that he was on Putin's payroll or had given somebody named Bubba a blowjob and Putin had information about it? Can you imagine how the white ruling racist class would have treated that, considering how they treated him when he wore a tan suit?
I can't at all. And I remember you and I discussing specifically that quote and how it was an off-the-cuff recorded conversation. It wasn't planned. Nobody knew they were being recorded. It was a very candid admission by both Ryan and McCarthy that, hey, this guy's got to be compromised by Russia. There's no other way that you could explain basically why he does what he does. And also, it sort of irks me that they've known this. Both of them have chosen to just get out of government, but they've done nothing to sort of advocate a path of correction here. To sort
for their country they claim they love.
That's right. They've just exited and probably made millions of dollars in the private sector without any sort of social responsibility to bring attention to this problem and try to correct it within their party.
And the inherent racism in that they will protect a white man who is a traitor to his country, who is selling American interests down the river for Vladimir Putin because he's white and rich. But they would never, ever, ever do such a thing for a black man. So all of these things and this covering up for Donald Trump is the preference of the ruling class to uphold white supremacy. And I want to leave you with a tweet by one of my favorite people. She is a historian, Ruth Ben-Ghiat of NYU. And she says, "This is what I mean by moral collapse." Tucker Carlson asks Witkoff, "What do you think of Putin?" Witkoff responses, "I like him. I thought he was straight up with me. I don't regard him as a bad guy." This is a guy, Putin, who is a war criminal, who kills the opposition in Navalny, murdered the opposition who was going to come unseat him, murdered him, throws oligarchs out the window. And we have this dipshit, this racist dipshit, Steve Witkoff, who was bought and paid for, obviously, by Vladimir Putin, who is obviously bought and paid for Donald Trump. And these white guys get away with this
I understand blackmail, I understand blackmail, but that means that you put yourself in a position that somebody could gather intelligence on you to hang over your head. And I know that somebody is going to say, yeah, but they all do that. Obama didn't give them nothing to blackmail him over. Yeah, I'm quiet because y'all can say what y'all want to say about President Barack Obama, but he set a standard that was unprecedented. So if he can do it, they can too. He did not have a scandal. He could not be compromised. Whatever decision he made, he made. Whatever mistakes he made, he made. Whatever accomplishments he got, he made. So he was not a puppet. Yeah, so blackmail is still not acceptable. You put yourself in uncompromising position to be fooling with kids, raping women, boys and girls, and you gave them ammo to blackmail you. So that means you shouldn't be in that position because you're compromised. Period. I'm not making excuses for not one predator.
Right. It is so appalling.
And I think Ruth said it best. I mean, that's a prime example of the moral collapse in our country where that's acceptable. You can openly say that without any fear of blowback. What does that say about our country where you can praise basically a person like Putin and think that it's socially acceptable to say that?
An anti-American murderous dictator. And he says that on a podcast. And it's just the moral rot that we used to have presidents, even Reagan would say, okay, Russia bad.
That's right.
You know, this is completely new that we have American president, American leadership that provide cover for anti-democratic, anti-American despots around the world and actually favor them and collude with them. It is a very new thing in America. All right, that's all we have for this episode. Thank you, Josh, for subbing in all week for Pumps. Please.
Okay. Unfamiliar territory. It's a lot going on that we're just not familiar with. It may not necessarily be the same things, but it definitely is new things. This is just unfamiliar territory. And so, like, what we think is normal, what we take for granted as normal, it is absolutely being compromised. It's being compromised for real. Let's go. Oh,
my energy bill dropped from $150.
I need for y'all to get the likes up. Double tap the face of the screen. I've been on here 2 hours and 33 minutes. My likes should be well above what they are. I know that there have been people come in, leave, people come in, go. I understand, but I still need the likes up. I still need the likes up. Double tap the face of your screen. Just 1, 2. Come on, just double tap if you're using your phone. And if you are on your phone device, on your computer, just hit the 3 dots at the top. And it'll take you to the likes. I'm sorry. It'll take you to the likes. If you could hit the like button, I greatly appreciate it. Let's get the likes up so we can move forward, and I can come back later on and talk about